I'm born in the 70s. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, so it's Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, that type of stuff. I was around 7 or 8 when I saw Star Wars, and that just, you can't really say it changed my worldview, but I became a huge fan of Star Wars. My name is Jean-Denis Haas. I usually go by JD, and I'm from Switzerland. I moved from Switzerland to the States in fall '99 to study animation here. I graduated from school and then worked at Industrial Light and Magic afterwards. It was kind of a goal to work at that company or to work at least within that field and those type of movies. And as I graduated from school, they were just finishing another Star Wars movie, and I was really lucky to have the right timing to get to work at ILM and then to also work on Star Wars movies. So it's kind of full circle of, I used to play as a kid with the toys, and now I'm in front of the computer with the same toy, animating that. My area of expertise is animation in terms of performance. So anything that is moving. So this could be a character as in a human. So it could be a human biped or a creature, 4 legs, tails, wings, so anything that is moving, including vehicles. You start with an idea, and then you have to think in terms of what is the character doing in the shot. It's kind of getting into the mindset of the character. Is it a creature that's more like rah rah, that type of stuff? Or if it's a human, do they relate to the human in the character in the scene? So then I set up a camera and I just act things out, which people should not see because it's usually very goofy and you make sounds and faces. There will be a lot of embarrassing footage. When they gave me the machine to test out, on paper, the specs look good. There's a lot of RAM, the graphics card is really good, but it's always different when you actually use your assets and everything that might push it to a limit. And having used the product, it's great, it's really, really fast. I can render things that used to take 10 minutes, they take like 2 minutes. So for me, it's a huge, huge improvement. My first monitor compared to this was obviously not good, and this one is great. I see more, because I don't need a really wide view of Maya to animate, but I need more windows open to work with Maya. So I have my animation scene open, but I need what we call a graph editor. I need a separate window for my reference. And if you have a regular monitor, it's okay, but you need to switch, you need to minimize desktops and change things. And with a widescreen monitor, I don't. So for me, a widescreen monitor helps with speed. The monitor has cable inputs on the side and behind it, so I can have everything where I sit, and the accessibility is really, really good. The Creator Center is very useful just because it has immediate access to the core functions of your computer. So if I just animate, I want specific graphics power and processor power just for that program. And with MSI, you can choose for this program, put all the power onto that. You have so much access to the machine in detail that you can really make it work for yourself. And it's because the monitor and the machine work together. Even now, I have to watch movies to study and to advance whatever I'm doing. With animation, like I want to craft performances that have an effect on an audience and they either laugh or they cry or whatever it is. My name is JD, I'm an animator and I create with MSI.
There's so much of it around that often people don't really know what it is, but essentially anything that's design based but then moves is motion graphics. My name is Nick Hill. I'm a motion designer and founder of 23rd C. Grew up in Bristol, super sick city, so I'd see like lots of street art around, and I was just like, I really want to do that. I was like skateboarding as well, and so I had like a black book of sketches that used to get passed around. People were just loving it, which is quite cool. One day I sat down and watched an advert. My mum was like, oh, you pay more attention to the adverts than you do the TV programs. Like, that's kind of funny. And I was like, oh, I wonder what is that discipline? I ran upstairs and just Googled. The first link that came up was like London Metropolitan University, BA Motion Graphic, applied, and that was that. There was a lot of film work being shot around London, so working at Territory was awesome. During my time there, I got to work on Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Age of Ultron, Blade Runner. One of the ideas I had when setting up 23rd C is that progression of having a more physical component to design briefs. BBC2 reached out, and so they showed us this reference, and there was a lot of talk about like using Houdini, using Cinema 4D, and it was always like, nah, that's not quite right. Can it feel more like fluid? Can it be more like this? And I was just like, why don't we just shoot it? And then we did 2-day shoot with real paint. When the executive creative director saw it, he was like, that's it, love it. That was a great project to like really embody this constant desire to create value and embark on projects that are just things that we want to do. This is partly why the MSI project is kind of interesting, because it's taking that concept of mixing digital and physical and pushing it even bigger. So we've been using the P100 to create a piece of motion graphics. We thought it'd be quite a good way to like put it to work. Essentially of like geometric forms changing state, we're going to have that on a screen and then 3D print and create this sculpture and then shoot inside of it. This is all going to be sort of mirrored and reflective. So we'll get like this real life kaleidoscopic fractal tunnel. I don't know if it's going to work, but I quite like that. As somebody who's like built all their own machines previously, it was so nice to just like literally unpack, play, and then get creating. Like what's important to me is like, does it feel good? Is it stable? And can I spend my time creating and not worrying about hardware and software? And the machine was doing that for me. Pretty damn good. But actually, really, the monitor for me is just the thing that's making the whole process like a lot more just enjoyable. I've always worked on these standard aspect ratio screens, but there's something really satisfying about having this wider monitor actually filling up your entire field of view. It just feels more right. My advice to anyone looking to get started in motion graphics is don't bring your dog to work. Just kidding, I love you. Study, practice, and find your own voice. I think it's important to have whatever you do rooted in some sort of design theory, but also know your software so that you can articulate your ideas. And then most importantly is like use that knowledge to find how do you express your voice that is new and authentically you. I'm a motion designer and I create with MSI.
Hi, I'm Dale Hayward.
And I'm Sylvie Trouvé.
And we're stop motion animators. We're based out of Montreal with our animation studio called MSI Creator Animation.
We're a husband and wife team, so we are together 24 hours a day.
Our studio's at home, so we work and live in the same place.
Most people think we're crazy that we work together. Most people are like, oh, I couldn't work with my partner, like there's no way. And I'm like, this is like amazing because we're so passionate about what we do, we can talk about it all the time. Naturally, we just said, oh, we should just have a company, and then just went from there. It was really natural evolution.
Yeah, Montreal is really inspiring for that. There's a lot of other people that are making it happen on their own. So stop motion is a series of images that create the illusion of movement. So you have real cameras and real lights, and everything's physical. And we have typically a puppet, what we call a puppet, so a miniature little doll, and we move it one frame at a time. So we push it a little bit, take a picture, push it again, take another picture, and we keep on doing that until we get the illusion of life.
There's always a little bit of magic that happens when you're shooting because you never are sure of what the outcome will be. You're dealing with physical things, so some things happen and you have to on the spot deal with it and react to it.
Life really inspires us. I like to draw a lot, so there's always a constant studying of nature and people and what's going on.
Yeah, I think we're very similar in that aspect, that we both really love just watching and analyzing and studying life. MSI Creator is pretty unique because we work on a lot of different types of projects. Sometimes we're working on commercials, animating crazy things like coffee grinds for like Tim Hortons. Other times we're working on documentaries and we're trying to explain abstract ideas about how the brain works.
And other times we're on feature films like The Little Prince, where we have to be specialists and we're just focusing on just the animation and just character development. And then we're on to personal films like our film Beaumother, where we had to wear a million hats and have our hands in every single piece of the production.
Yeah, like writing the script and then doing the boards and then doing the animation and then doing the post and getting the sound done. And it's like making your own film is encompassing everything.
With the stop motion studio, we're capturing hundreds, sometimes thousands of images in a really, really high resolution. And so we need a system that can handle all of these large files, these raw images, and process through them and work within a 4K workflow. And these MSI Creator Series computers have been amazing for that. The technology doesn't get in the way of our creativity.
The monitor as well is truly amazing with the color accuracy. We need to shoot and capture what we see for what we're doing, so it's super important that the color is right on.
The MSI Creator Series has just allowed us to be more creative. It comes pre-built, so we don't have to worry about all of the technical aspects of building it all and then any of the problems that may come along with it. And then it also allows us to be able to customize it afterwards, which is really, really nice, depending on the next job or the next new technology that comes out.
MSI allows us to be who we are and let us do what we do best, which is be creative. We are stop motion animators.
And we create with MSI.
My name is Jordi. I have a YouTube channel called cinecom.net. We always say the .net behind it. And what we do in that YouTube channel is we make tutorial videos about anything that happens in the film industry. So that are visual effects, editing, tricks, color grading, but also things like camera techniques, lighting, sound, anything about making films and videos. I never planned to do YouTube. I planned to make videos, yes, and I was making YouTube videos because I loved making them. I love to share knowledge and experience with other people, to see that other people are now able to make videos as well because of me. That is an amazing feeling, and that is what drives me to do this. And it turned into a full-time job now, which still feels very strange. And I also feel like I don't know where this is going to. So at this point, I just think the longest I can do this, all right, let's just keep on going. I don't have an end goal in mind. I just want to keep doing this for as long as possible, and we'll see where we end up with. I remember that one of the first sponsors we had was actually MSI. And back then it was MSI Gaming. They didn't have a creative department yet, and they sent us a gaming PC and they asked us to do creative tasks on it. Now, funny enough, it was one of the most stable computers we had at the office. And that's not because this is an MSI video. It was truly the most stable PC. And at that moment, I was actually sold by MSI, by its components. So I built some PCs afterwards, and I used several MSI components in there as well. And that's actually how I started using MSI more and more. And now today they also have an entire creative department. They have their whole creative series. They have their laptops and their MSI's Prestige products, which are built for creative tasks. And I think that's beautiful. Not only we work in the studio, we do our work there, but also in the weekends. If you're doing YouTube, you don't have a 9-to-5 job. You have an 8 days a week job if you work for YouTube. So in the weekends, I'm also brainstorming about ideas. I'm trying out stuff, but I don't want to drive back and forward to my studio. So that's why I love to have my setup here in the living room. And I'm also really pleased with the design of the MSI Prestige because it fits within a living room design. It's a white, clean PC. It doesn't have those gaming RGB lights, which I don't want to have standing here. So it's very clean. They have a monitor that suits with it, a keyboard mouse, so it sits here very nicely. I think the way that MSI did help me with my work is with their components that they manufacture themselves. Like, they have their own graphical cards, and they have also built their own housing. They have assembled their own systems. And I do feel that there is a better stability coming from that, because in the office we work on different machines, and it does feel like this one right here doesn't crash as much in Premiere or in After Effects as the systems in the office. Also, they have developed their own software called Creator Center, which allows you to prioritize certain apps like Premiere, After Effects, etc., to give more resources to those programs, which is really cool. You can definitely feel the difference there. I don't have any future goals, honestly. I think that I'm currently already living my dream. If you can do this, what we do full time, I think anyone would trade with my position. So I am living the dream right now. Hi, I'm Jordi from CineCam. I'm a creative filmmaker and I create with MSI.
You can't flex anymore with your great camera because everyone has one.
What I love about QuickTime, and it's tricky because it's not being used or supported for PCs anymore.
MSI as well, where we recreated an action scene with Harley Quinn.
Talk to myself, that one thing I really love, I love posters.
It's really amazing to put in our creativity into the live stream. So it was super fun, I learned a lot myself, and it was just on a whole a super great experience. So I really hope that the MSI Creator Awards will be held again next year.